Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Welcome to TrendSpider Live. My name is Mike, and I'm joined with the legendary Ripster, creator of the MA Clouds. How are you doing today, Ripster?
Hey, Mike. Thank you. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. Just surviving these crazy markets. And I'm looking at Palantir here on the daily chart, and it looks insane. It looks insane. We're sitting right here at a key pivot level on the daily, going into earnings. Last earnings was wild, so I'm expecting, some crazy moves yet again. Is there anything that you're expecting here in Palantir earnings, Rip?
Yeah. So the Palantir earning is, if you see, for since July of 2025, Palantir is in this range 150, 190. I mean, it went over 200 a couple of times, one
Yep,
and then back to 150. So what that tells me, if we break 150 today, that's going to be a waterfall down.
I
If
agree.
if um, if their earnings, they show the growth, the EPS, the margin growth and earnings really good, and they hold 150, then we go back to 180, 190 level, right? So yeah, all eyes there, right? So we are looking for 23 consensus EPS. That puts us at the earnings EPS growth of around 70-80%. But if they get around 28, then the stock is probably going to blow up because the double EPS there. And the revenue,
Yep.
we're looking for 1.32 billion. If we get around 1.34 billion, a little bit more, that'll be good. But again,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things going on. Market right now is not paying these software names, even though it's an AI story. Market does not. All these big runners are taking being weak. I mean,
Yeah.
look at everything what's happening in the market. If you if you are a memory stock, you build RAMs, you're doing pretty good. But otherwise, I mean, look at these Bitcoin runners, Robinhood, Palantir.
Yeah.
So they just don't. Market doesn't. It's a tough environment. It's a tough
It is.
environment here. So
Yeah.
you know the valuation.
It's definitely a stock picker's market. I'm taking a look at Snowflake here on the daily. Similar, very similar type of setup. If you guys are out there in the chat, what is going on? Let us know. Say what's up, by the way, as we come here into Palantir earnings. But again, yeah, as Rip was saying, software is not in a good spot. However, one of the only things going up in this market still is memory names. Again, and the common theme here is Micron, SanDisk,
Hmm.
Seagate. All these stocks continue to push. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen silver recently took a crazy dip last Friday. Was live for that as well.
Yeah, silver
Um,
is right now sitting at our key 50-51 MTF clouds.
it
SLV and
is.
silver futures are sitting at a key MTF clouds. A great spot to bounce. Great risk reward there. If it doesn't, then you just get out. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. A lot of things happening, man, with this the new Fed guy that Trump selected. He's fine with the rate cuts, but he doesn't like pumping the market with liquidity. So
Right.
that's why we saw all those dumps coming in. It's a lot of macro going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
100%.
but market was bullish today. So we were long since the morning. Market
Nice.
was bullish. Apple, Google, Amazon, the big runners for the day. We'll recap later in the day. But yeah, I mean, all
Yeah.
eyes on PLNTR, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
No, it
big.
looks good on SPY. Looks like this morning, right in the morning, broke over your MTF clouds here.
Yeah, that's where we were long. You see that blue
I
line
bet.
there,
Yep.
right? So we know that also we use our VIX strategy. The VIX was dropping down. It was easy money. I mean, just ride the clouds, hold it.
Hmm.
Look at that. Even if you bought that blue line, you put your stops under the opening candle. One risk, four reward. This was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Ripster
great.
Clouds on MTF
Yeah.
breakout longs today, so no brainer there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. It
Look at
started off.
Apple. Look at Apple before
Let's
we go
see.
to the PLNTR.
Yeah. Oh,
All right, look
Apple.
at that MTF cloud breakout, man.
Beautiful.
That's a cheat code. You don't have a
Yeah.
10-minute cloud. If you look at the 10-minute, if you turn on the 10-minute Ripster clouds, you'll
Hmm.
see that how we are riding the wave up.
So you
Yeah,
got the 10-minute here, and then
yeah.
what, the 8 and the 9 or
512. Just put 512.
512?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys want to import these indicators, the link is down below. These are the Ripster MTF clouds here.
Yeah. Which one are
Um,
these? You can just go to the OG clouds.
yeah,
Um,
right here.
yeah. So we
Found them
just
right
ride,
there.
So that's the dip. I know the trader was buying. You see the red dip. That's on that the dip middle of the day. That was a
Oh yeah,
that was a buy. We were trading that live there. So yeah, man,
nice.
the magic of clouds. So it's pretty
Yeah, it's
good day.
beautiful.
Pretty good day. We're gonna be doing the same thing with Palantir tomorrow. See whatever trade it gives us, bear or bull. I know a lot of people are pretty bullish there. Long, hopefully it can hold 150 for them.
Yeah. No, it
MTF
should be
clouds is right
crazy.
above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 150 level is going to be really crucial today, guys.
And
Like,
also the MTF clouds are right there at the 150 level.
yep. Let's go back to the 10-minute here. Yep. Sitting
Yeah.
right, it got rejected off the cloud today. So, it kept you out of there this morning, probably, if you're looking to trade. So that was interesting. But let's take a look. I actually prompted Sidekick what we're
Mm.
expecting here for Palantir earnings real quick. As you can see, the EPS estimate is 21 cents and revenue 1.3 billion, of course, after the market closes today. And Sidekick is saying hold. It's saying, the PE ratio is absolutely insane. Stock's already down. It's saying broke key support. It kind of did. It's actually below the 150 right now. But yeah,
I
it's
mean,
basically saying hold. But
we know that, right? It has to,
yeah,
the first of all, the things which are against the PLTR, the environment right now, and it's not the same kind of environment we had last earnings, even after last earnings, right? This is in this range. So there's a lot of burden on Palantir to prove
oh yeah,
itself, right? You want to see the crazy growth, right? EPS growth was 64, revenue growth was 60%. If it shows 100% revenue growth, if it is showing that its margins increasing, yes, it's going to bounce over 150. And also the government contracts coming in. I think a bunch of international contracts also coming in. So then, yeah, I mean, the only trade will be was versus 150. It has good earnings. You long it over 150, let's put stops under like 148 or something, take it up. That's the
yep,
only plan. But if it's not breaking over 150 and the earnings are bad, I mean, when I say bad, they can be good, but they won't be that good. The market wants that. Market wants it to like blow it out of the gate. Then you would have to short it versus 150. But let's see. Big
yeah.
level, man. This is a big daily level. You see that 1, 2, 3, 4.
Everybody sees it. Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
sees it. I just started a poll, by the way. If you guys are out there in the chat, I started a poll. It's a simple question. Does Palantir break above 150 after earnings? Vote yes or no. Curious to see what all you guys have to say. Everyone's voting yes so far. So
Yeah, I
hopefully
mean, there's a
we're
lot of
right.
bulls, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a proven support, and they have been getting, it's
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun. I mean, like we were saying, everybody sees this level. It's just going to be a matter of if the buyers or sellers win. I think everybody's expecting them to probably beat earnings again. I mean, they constantly beat earnings. And then, they got their CEO, Alex Karp, just absolute permeable. Honestly, kind of
yeah,
a great CEO, especially in these earnings calls. He's super fun to watch. We will be playing the earnings call later on for you guys out there if you guys want to stick around and
yeah.
watch it. Starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. So you guys make sure you guys stick around if you want to see Alex Karp. I think last time he was like playing around with like a sword or something, or maybe that wasn't the earnings call, but he's a
No, no, that
fun
was
fun
after it.
CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fun CEO to listen to though, nonetheless.
Yeah. So
So
the one thing is the expected move is around 9%. So that puts us around 13 to 14, maybe $15 move based on options, right?
yeah,
But again, this is Palantir. If they just do something crazy, man, it can move more than the expected move.
of course.
And but this 150 support, if they do bad, hopefully they don't do really bad for those so many investors right there, then it can make a big flush under the 150. There's a 143 star support,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's what we are waiting for. That's what we are looking for. Good earnings, revenue growth more than 100%, margin expansion, good. Then of course we will have a call, right? So the call is big. So over
yeah,
150, we'll be looking for the long on Palantir. If it breaks down, 150 will be a risk for those who like to short it. We do trade after hours in our community. We do after
nice.
hour trades as well. Um, shares. So we'll see how it goes. Option gamblers, make sure you do not gamble. You do not gamble. Your assumed risk is 100%. I would rather trade credit spreads if you are gambler, but just wait and watch. Do not go crazy. It's not the same environment we used to have. If it was the same environment, like let's say Palantir was trading closer to 200, good earnings, yeah, it was probably going to 250.
Yeah.
Because all the previous runners, and they're the new hot stars. They're new stars, superstars these days in the market. Micron, SNDK, those are the today's the new stars. Everybody wants them. So Palantir is kind of forgotten name in the near term memory. So that's
Yeah.
why you see that.
No, absolutely. You're 100% right. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at the chart going into last run, he's looked so much stronger. You have these base breakout, and then this is the earnings candle right here.
Yeah,
Hitting
I
the
mean,
all-time high.
look at it. Any investor who invested after July 2025, investor, I'm talking about a long-term investor, not a
Yep.
trader. He's pretty
Hmm.
much flat. He's pretty
Right.
much flat, right?
Yep. Yeah.
July,
Exactly. I mean, he's
August,
been right at
September,
that level.
October, November, December, 6, 7 months. He's sitting flat. He's frustrated. Guess what? If the Palantir disappoints, he's going to lock in his profits and you're going to see the sell off. But
Yep.
if they do good, he's going to give them another chance because it's right there at his price when he invested in July 25.
Yeah.
So
But then they might have some resistance. All the people that getting up here that are, finally breaking even, they want to sell. They're seeing these
yeah,
cloud
yeah.
resistance levels.
161 I see is a big resistance level. Then we have 170. So a lot of resistance levels.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And we got about 4 minutes until the market closes. Sidekick went ahead and said hold Palantir going into earnings, so that is interesting. Let's see. It says hold based on the PE ratio. Probably, I mean, that's exactly what you're kind of saying. All the investors over here, they're holding into earnings. They're going to hold through and see what happens. If they're a long-term investor, they're a long-term investor. Maybe
Yeah, I
they
mean, those people who bought at 20, 30, 40, they don't really care, right?
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
uh,
there's a lot of those people too. I mean,
yeah.
Palantir went up so much so quick. Just you know, like a year ago, it was
Yeah, yeah,
under
yeah, yeah.
100. So
Yeah,
plenty
but
of unrealized gains here.
and don't forget, we have Mr. Michael Burry watching today with his put options.
True. True. I totally forgot about that, to be honest.
He's watching closely, man. He's
Yeah,
watching closely. He's probably
absolutely.
gonna say something tomorrow after earnings.
Oh, I believe, yeah. Gonna drop a Substack letter on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, guys, let's see how that poll is doing. We got 68% of people saying that it breaks above 150. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to check out Ripster's Clouds using the link down below. We got Ripster's X account. You guys can go follow him. Go follow TrendSpider, and also sign up for TrendSpider's free weekly newsletter using the link down below in the chats as well. Give you guys free trade ideas. Rip is always tweeting awesome trade ideas. So make sure to give us all a follow if you guys are sitting here waiting for us to cover these Palantir earnings live. And we only have 2 more minutes. So
Is
guys,
it
make
right
sure
at the close?
Yep. Let's see. You got the 1 minute chart open here on the clouds. We're sitting right there at the 512.
Man, look at
So
the
we'll see. And
volume.
then,
The last candle, yeah, 2 million volume.
yep, volume coming in as the market starts to wind down here. Let's see. What are you guys seeing in the chat? Do you guys have any questions for Ripster while he's on here?
Did you see?
Go ahead.
Does your tool show the option flow into the close? No.
We have unusual options flow, but not that is actually our next update. So
Okay.
stay on the move. We're gonna have full
Yeah.
option chains data. You're gonna be able to scan for options and all that.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly. We don't have exact date yet, but that is coming very soon. But for now, we just have the standard unusual options flow.
1 second
But
here.
very excited to see the full options data in TrendSpider. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I know I'm very excited for it. Let's see. So yeah, one more candle. One more. This is the last candle into the close. And let's see actually what time they exactly report earnings. It should be pretty soon, right after the market closes. The earnings call is in exactly an hour from now. But let's see when the numbers should get released. 5 minutes after the bell, we should get the numbers, but I'm sure we're going to get some movement before then. Getting a lot of volume here on the 1 minute charts. Let's see. Here's the bell. Here is the bell. So here's the first candle into the market close. Ooh, this is going to be a fun one to watch. Whoops. Getting alerts firing on my account.
All right. There we go. Let's see.
Let's see.
Palantir. Let's keep an eye there. 1 second.
Yep. Got it right here on the 1 minute. Again, you got this cloud resistance. We're getting some movement to the upside right now as we speak. Well, let's see. The earnings numbers should be out 5 minutes after the bell. As you can see, though, we're already getting tons of volume just in this first candle. Oh, it looks like Ripster might have disconnected for a sec. I'm sure he'll join back any second now. This is their What are you guys thinking out there in the chat? Let's go and take a look at this poll. Again, it looks like about 66% of you guys so far are expecting them to break above 150. And look at we are right now. You know, we see this cloud actually right here at 150 right now. Let me add Ripster back.
Okay, I'm back.
Yep, there you go. No
All right.
there. Yeah, I'm just noticing right now these clouds are sitting right here at this 150 level. So, I mean, literally everyone's eyes are on this same level. What do you guys think out there in the chat about Palantir? Let us know. Make sure you guys like the video. If you guys are enjoying so far and you're ready to see some crazy movement. I want to know what would be kind of funny is if it doesn't go anywhere at all, it just sits at 150. I don't think that'll happen though.
Yeah.
I think we'll get some nice movement.
I don't think the number is out yet.
No, I'm not seeing it quite yet. We'll refresh the news widget, see if anything has come out. Nothing that I see yet. But we'll keep an eye on it as soon as the numbers come out for you guys. Again, it should be out in just about 3 minutes. So it is the calm before the storm. And once they're out, we'll go ahead and give a quick analysis of the Palantir numbers. Then who knows, we can maybe take a look at the scanners that Ripster has on the TrendSpider platform, see if anything interesting pops up today. Somebody, yeah, what are you guys playing Palantir into earnings? Someone said they have 135 strike puts going into earnings. Are you guys long? You guys short? Selling options, buying options? Drop it in the chat. Let us know. Probably a decent one to buy options on if you're expecting a real big move here. But of course, a lot of risk goes into that. If you guys are just joining in, Palantir numbers come out in literally 3 minutes.
Palantir numbers, yeah, 405. Any time between 405, 415.
Yep.
So we are looking at 1 minute, 2 minute candle and seeing what's going on here.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some buying happening before the news. Remember, guys, we're looking for a consensus EPS of 1.32 billion. Sorry, the revenue and the EPS of 23 cents. Anything over that will be good, but we are also looking for a margin expansion.
Yep.
If margin slows down, then we have a problem.
Absolutely. We're sitting right here at 150. It couldn't be squeezing any harder at this level, honestly. So many reactions to this 150 level and going into a massive earnings report here right at it. So this will be very telling for, honestly, probably the entire software. All the software stocks will probably, at least in some form, follow suit as to what happens with Palantir in just a few minutes here. So if you guys have any other, software stocks out there, Snowflake, even like the big ones like Microsoft, they might get affected as well. So even if you're not playing Palantir, this is very important.
Snow has been dumping like it's going bankrupt.
I know.
Jeez.
It's insane. Very similar setup to Palantir. It's sitting right at a pivot level on the daily. So,
yeah, man, it's all Palantir. They better report good, otherwise it's gonna be bad.
Not gonna be good for a lot.
Yeah, at least report something which doesn't make it dump.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could even beat and dump. You never know. Oh, we're getting some movement here. 1 minute until the numbers are supposed to get released. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. Oh, here we go. Here
Okay.
we go. We
Numbers
are
are up.
above. Wow. What in the world? We just hit 159, flying off of my chart here. Let's see if the numbers are definitely out. Let's see if we have them yet.
25 cents.
25. So that is
Good.
definitely a beat.
Solid good.
Definitely a beat on EPS at 25
What's the
cents.
revenue?
Let's see.
1.4 billion.
Sounds like a beat as well. If that's the case, it's holding above 150 for now, but it's
Hold on.
Let's see.
Man, that's a big beat on revenue.
Seeing a double beat. Keep refreshing these numbers here.
All right, so you watch this pullback to 150. So far we got it's very good setup. Yeah, so revenue is insane, guys. This revenue increase, EPS growth 78%, revenue growth 70% is good. It's a good long versus 150 there.
Yeah, above the clouds right now. And after
Yeah,
hours,
as long as over the cloud, it's okay. So it's not gonna dump because the earnings is definitely on a growth pace.
Yep, here's the numbers here. I'm seeing on the Benzinga news desk news feed EPS of 25 cents beating 23 cents estimate, and then 1.4, basically 1.4 billion in revenue beating the
That's
1.32.
that's a big beat. That's
Yeah,
amazing beat. Let's look at the margins here.
continue to refresh this to see if we get any forward guidance numbers. That would be very interesting as well.
Yeah. So you long it versus 150, you long that dip at 153, your stops at 150. Guide higher.
Ooh, are you seeing higher guidance?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Higher guidance.
yeah. Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice. 1.53
Operating
billion.
margin 57%. 57%. 57% growth in the margins. It's insane. You just, yeah,
Wow.
this is going higher back to the highs. PLTR.
Absolutely insane beat, you guys. They just
PLTR long that 150s. And we got beautiful earnings here right now.
about 8% in the after hour session right
Guidance higher. All right, so it's
Guidance
breaking over the
way up.
Ripster Clouds. So let's see here. So did we do, or how much in dollars did we move right now? Let's see, $15, 150. So we already moving over the option pricing of $15. So nice push there on 160s.
Yep. And it seems to not be liking 160 a whole lot.
Yeah, the 160 is a daily resistance. If you go
Yeah.
back, to 20th, this is exact area where it bounced. This is the exact area where it bounced there on September 25th as well. So 161, 162 is a big resistance level. But regardless, so far it's up from that pullback on 153, $7 there.
Yep.
So we're trading there
at
in live in the
160.
community.
Looking very nice.
All right, we are flagging right now. So everything is good. The earning EPS growth 78%, revenue growth 70%. That is pretty good. And then the margin growth is 57%. 57%. Operating margin is 57%. Just insane.
Amazing stuff. If you guys are enjoying this awesome movement on Palantir, make sure you guys subscribe because we're going to be going live or several weeks from now, we're going to be going live like 3-4 times a week. But look at these sales estimates for 2026. They're seeing 7.18 to 7.19 billion versus the 6.2 billion estimate. Again, forward guidance crushing it, even for quarter one and for the entire 2026 year. Double beat on EPS and
Management
revenue.
extremely confident about AI super cycle. Management is extremely confident about its AI super cycle. Massive beat across the board. So all
Yeah,
right, guys, it's pretty good. Pretty good. If you
yeah,
long that 150 that we're discussing, you can hold it. Wait for the break of 160 flag. So your swing overnight holds is just versus 150. If you're just scalping, that's a good idea to take that sum off there at 161. So you see the power of Ripster MTF clouds. When you have Ripster MTF clouds, you don't need to worry. You see that what Mike showing you those clouds there. So when that move happens after the earnings, most likely it's a long right away and you can hold it. And ideally, if we hold, let's say the market environment doesn't really impact Palantir. Ideally, when we want to see breakout over 161 and push towards 167, that's going to be big challenge with this market environment. But nothing wrong with the earnings, nothing wrong with the growth. Palantir is just insane.
yeah. Nothing wrong at all. In fact, it was great reports, great numbers, and the only thing left that we have to get through now is listening to Alex Karp speak on the earnings call, which we're
Yeah.
going to be streaming live in about 50 minutes from now. So make sure you guys stick around and listen in for that, because that'll be very telling as well. But it seems like it's above 150. It's probably going to hold, but you never know. We have seen when the
Yeah,
CEO
I mean,
comes on.
it's all about the conference call, but so far the 150 bullish move was good. If this happened like in another market environment, we would be trading close to 180 right now.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's guiding 61% revenue growth. Just crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to argue against that. And yeah, if we go back and look at the last earnings price action, we did get this crazy, crazy daily candle right here on the daily charts, of course. It flew up all the way up there like 220, but did not last up there for very long and actually ended up kind of marking the top. So hopefully um, we actually get a sustained bounce here. Again, the next resistance levels, there's going to be a ton of resistance to get through until we get back to all-time high with all the people that have been longing in this consolidation range that's been that we've had for so long. We got the cloud resistance here at around like the 168, the 173. So, but for now, it at least avoided this
All
dropping
right.
below 150.
Yeah. So what you need to see if you're just scalping it after hours, for like swing traders, investors, you are good. You're in good
Yeah.
shape. You just put your stops under 150 lows of
Hmm.
the today. You're fine. But if you're scalping it, what you're looking for is you're looking to see that 153, 154 area holds. It doesn't dip below that 154 area, because then it dips below that Fibonacci. So we want to see the flag forming here. Maybe
Yeah.
Alex Carp goes crazy and we break out of the flag and we push towards the 167s there. But if you were a lotto gambler, you need you if you want your lottos to pay, you really need Palantir over 160 tomorrow.
Yeah. No.
Otherwise, you'll barely
Mhm.
make anything.
Yeah. Yeah. We got call options right now. I mean, you're definitely not completely out of the clear, with,
No, I mean it's not a crazy move. It's almost a priced in move, just a little $5 more,
yep.
right? But it's not a move that will pay you crazy amount. Most of your options will lose money. That's why I teach everyone all the time. Do not just gamble in the options. That's not the right way. Like a lot
Yeah.
of traders, just trade it after hours. Learn to trade leverage ETFs. Can you go to the chart of PLTU?
Yeah.
PLTU. So if you're
Take
a
a look.
small account trader, trade PLTU, right? You could
Yeah.
literally bought that right after the earnings, that 50 to 50, you could have made $5 there. If you cannot
Yeah.
trade PLTR, stop trading options, gambles. Trade leverage ETFs, pretty liquid. Trade the stocks better, or you better trade credit spreads. So if you see even the leverage ETFs obeying the MTF cloud system, giving us the long. And the other thing was the 50 psychological level. We had 150 on Palantir, we had 50 on PLTU. You
Crazy.
could buy that with confidence, that I
Yeah.
teach day in day out, that I teach on X as well. So live to even today, we discussed this in the when we started the stream, that over 150 will be a long, and you got an opportunity to long there on that second candle pullback to 153 that ran to 160. So hopefully that helped. So that was good, Mike.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a great look here.
Yeah.
Again, the Ripster MTF clouds. If you guys want to try them out on the TrendSpider platform, TrendSpider is running a sale right now. You can try the whole thing out for just $7 for 2 weeks, and then you can use the link down below to import Ripster's indicators for free. And there's also multiple market scanners based on the indicator,
Yeah.
which is
There,
pretty
there's
unique to
another one,
TrendSpider.
PTIR. The traders can trade that as well. Those who are
PTIR is
new.
that?
PTIR. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So if you have even smaller account, you can just buy a couple hundred shares of PTIR after hours. You
true.
know, just enjoy the gains, and you see another MTF clouds there, so you can trade those as well. Of
Yep.
course, if you want to swing trade, you could swing trade as well. So let's see what happens if PLTR breaks 160, PTIR, PLTU, all those names would also break out with it. So these are some things to learn. Hopefully you guys can utilize those.
Yeah, it's a good call. I would totally agree with that over trading call options, especially for earnings, because
Yeah.
with options, you're trading volatility like before anything else, before the price action. Like, so, a good way to avoid that is definitely with the leverage ETFs if you want to take, higher risk plays as opposed to
Yeah.
just, plain PLTR shares for sure. But it's looking pretty good. They're flagging right here, and it looks like they're breaking up. The Ripster Cloud supports continue to move up as well, of course, with the price action. As the price sits up here, your stops can, potentially move up, but pretty good
Yeah,
play.
yeah, you can stay in the 2 minute chart initially, or
Mhm.
2 minute chart is good as
Yeah,
well. And then you can watch it. Just building the flag. You see the candle at 154, the Fibonacci. I think last earning call we did, I was teaching about drawing the Fibonacci from lows to the highs if you're
yeah,
scalping it after hours. So you know that it's holding the price action. I think it's
clearly.
gonna probably gonna flag until it's gonna probably, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty neat Fibonacci tool you got.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you know what are your levels to hold. And if we break out of that, then we're gonna go next leg up.
absolutely. So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and use the Fibonacci tool on TrendSpider, it's very easy. It's just right over here on the left-hand sidebar. You click it, click the low, you click the high, and then it draws all of these levels for you. Very nice tool for both swing traders and intraday traders even as well. You can see we have it plotting all of the upside moves as well. A couple of them, like the 1.618, seen here in the after-hour session, is up there at about 168.97. Pretty close to this cloud right here as well. Which one is this? This is the 1 hour cloud. So
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
very nice movement. And yeah, 61.8 was the bounce level here in the after hours session on this 2-minute chart that I have. And then, yeah, like we said, earnings call in about 40 minutes now. So, guys, make sure you stick around for that if you want to listen to the CEO of Palantir speak. He's usually a pretty fun guy to watch, pretty fun CEO. Very, very hyper bullish on his stock, which is really what you want to see in a CEO as well. Interesting guy. So make sure you guys stick around for that. In the meantime, curious to see what's going on these scanners. Was there any other names that you guys were watching today, Rip, that you guys traded? We did go over Apple earlier.
Yeah, we were trading SNDK, STX, all the
Nice.
memory names. We were on top of those.
Let's
Yeah,
take a
those
look.
were SNDK.
Let's go here to the 10-minute for SNDK. Yeah, this has
Yeah,
actually been a
yeah.
great
So we
name.
we, we we were shorted on it on Friday, and this morning,
Yeah.
right at the open, I was on the Voice and Live, and we longed it. We planned like in the pre-market. was our top focus. You see the Ripster Clouds, 1 hour clouds, so that gives you an added confidence. There's another thing there. We have our 600 level, 600
Hmm.
psychological level. I mean,
Yeah.
just long it, just buy small size. Let's say you buy what 100 shares, or 50 shares. You're risking $500. It went 660, right? You're risking $500, and you know you're making $3,000. That's the
Yeah.
kind of trade. People usually think a bigger stock, you need a bigger size. That's not how it works. You could literally buy 10 shares.
True. Yeah.
you
It's the
know
same percentage
yeah,
wise. Yeah.
yeah. No, we don't even have to risk that. If you move the stop higher to low of that candle, you know
Right
yeah,
there. Yeah.
anywhere, yes. And it's yeah. So, and the same thing was STX
Yeah.
that we were long, yeah. But even though it took a time to push over, but you could still, you
Mm.
see this 400 level, that's
Oh
it.
yeah.
Just buy,
Yeah.
just order, market order
There you
right at the
go.
open. I mean, we do it pretty fast. We were like, the first thing at 9:30, I was telling, we had, even before we open, we are ready for it. We discuss it. I discussed both the 400 and 600 level with the traders. Usually I cover it in my YouTube recap where I show everything. So you see that it was, yeah. So that's what we were trading, man. One and done. You don't need to like play 20 things. Just hold the one that's working. Google, Amazon was pretty strong today as well. Those were top max 7 plays. um,
Yep.
you see that. Look at that, man. You just need Ripster MTF clouds, man. You don't even need
Beautiful.
anything. Look at that, the candle. Look at the second red candle below in the morning, 9:40
Mhm.
candle. You see that? No, no, come
Oh,
down. Yeah,
this
look
one
at
right
that.
here. Yeah.
Where's the
Right
low?
off the cloud. Yep.
Yeah, man. That's just buy the limit orders on the clouds and let it ride. I think Amazon was good too. So those are a few of our plays today.
Yeah. Let's
So
take a
we'll
look at
definitely,
Amazon
yeah.
and see. Is Amazon? Oh, that's a good one as
Yeah,
well.
so you see, there was the 20 MTF cloud right there, and then breaking out of the 1 hour MTF cloud. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's just I just hope thousands and thousands of more traders use it, because it's definitely a life-changing
It's a
strategy
great
for the
tool.
traders.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's a reason why all these brokers have it. It's on by
yeah,
default, like Robinhood.
yeah. I mean, Robinhood, those guys don't have MTFs yet.
Oh, they don't have
They'll
MTFs.
they will
Oh, they have
probably
the
launch MTF.
yeah.
Robinhood is a little sneaky. They put regular clouds there. They put my settings and everything, and man,
Hmm.
they didn't give me credit, but that's fine. But they will put MTF clouds soon, and they will not mention me, but they will. But yeah, we've been working with Viewbull. You guys have it. TradingView has it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, so
100%.
those were some of our MTF cloud setups. Look at the AMD.
There
Pretty
you
good.
go. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Everyone's
Yeah.
asking about AMD. People are asking about Nvidia right now too. Apparently, yeah, Nvidia's down. I mean,
Yeah,
Nvidia
yeah.
started dropping in
Yeah,
midday.
NVIDIA is this is what we call, Mike, as a MTF magnet. So what is an
Mm,
MTF magnet? I did a big, huge webinar on X as well. I explained it. When the price breaks through one MTF cloud, it goes towards the next MTF cloud. You see that from one MTF to the other MTF. So
yeah.
from 189 all the way
Here's
to
that.
185. So that
Yep.
was a short setup, right? And
Yeah,
in
it's
the
a good
morning,
one.
it was a 10-minute long, but it was a choppy long. You see the blue line where it bounced in the morning. You see that?
Yeah, yep.
So we long that calls. It was a choppy curl, hit the MTFs and then just rejected and failed. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Long
Nvidia is
short.
also right now. Nvidia does not have any love. Nvidia is does not have any love. SanDisk, STX, Micron are the Nvidia of today. So
Yeah.
that's what's
No, the
happening.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're not getting any love, so just leave it alone. They're better names to trade. If you're an investor, you're nothing to worry about. Just buy Nvidia 170s wherever, and just leave it alone. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to find
Mike.
where the momentum is, right? And somebody's asking, what is MTF? MTF stands for multi-time frame and then clouds, of course, because
Multi-time frame clouds. If you want to know more, you can go to Google, search Ripster MTF clouds. You can go to Chat GPT, tell me about Ripster MTF clouds. You can go to Grok, and these things are pretty famous. Thousands of traders use them. You will find your answer. Everything Google will explain it. Gemini will explain it. So everything is easy to find. But MTF means multi-time frame clouds. I also have a webinar in the community. I did. Webinar on it in on X. Thousands of traders joined it. Free webinar. You can also watch my YouTube videos. My YouTube is probably the biggest out anywhere. I have 1100 plus videos there,
Nice.
webinars, recaps, shorts. So you can go there and learn about them as well. So guys,
Definitely.
Palantir, there's your flag break. So you look, things are looking good there. So
Yep.
you can hold it. It rejected again a little
Continue.
bit on 161, but we are making higher lows, so that's pretty good. So fundamentally, technically, everything is looking for good for Palantir to hold. Now, market environment, what they say on the conference call, we don't know. But so far, 150 is in place, just like we discussed in our stream today. So hopefully, you guys found value in the stream. Hopefully, some of you guys could trade live PLTR. Like always, I say never a hindsight. We always explain everything. Now, we would have showed it too if it went down and the earnings were not good, no doubt, and we would have used the same risk. But this was a bullish move and amazing earnings.
Yep. Absolutely. Whew, great move. Yeah, I'm glad it went up. Let's take a look at some of the other software names. Like Snow didn't really move a whole lot. I think like the DDOG, a pretty good one. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see if
Snow is
Nvidia was
Snow,
down.
Unity software.
Oh, Unity,
Yeah, I mean, it's just software
not
is just
much.
getting crushed, man.
Yeah,
CRM, Salesforce. If you are
CRM is a good
invested in
one.
sale in software, yeah, you're not doing pretty good. Um,
Yeah, no.
but but something which is bouncing is Target, Costco. Everybody loving the new Fed money going into retail
Oh, yeah. Look
shares.
at
Yeah,
Costco.
yeah.
Crazy candle today.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, for Costco. That is insane. Let's take a look at this on the intraday chart. Nice cloud sort of crossover right here too over the red cloud. Very nice. Very nice on Costco. Then yeah, we also have the scanner right here. Pull up some of these
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
results.
Yeah, the
This is
scanner.
yeah.
Yeah, something I want to mention is only my scanners are only available on TrendSpider. I mean, other companies are trying to make them, but they're so complex. It's not easy to get them. We are working with TradingView. Trade ideas. They're not able to replicate it nicely, but TrendSpider, my MTF scanners are pretty good. You can find the plays which are kind of close to the clouds and about to make a move.
Yeah.
So not yeah, nice job there.
Couple examples here. For example, this scanner, you guys can find the scanners using the link down below. But like waste management, it finds stocks that are bouncing off of these red or green clouds. Again, you can see waste management bouncing off there several times. Dollar General here failed to break above this cloud. The scanner is picking it up. Then we have the flip side of this too over here. Like Fiverr is actually one that's popping up. Stuff that is bouncing off a green
Yeah,
cloud.
pretty good. And if we have a news, right? If we have a news and a catalyst with the clouds, it's better, right?
Yeah,
The combination of news and a catalyst with the system, technical system, is what you want. Because sometimes you would get in a trade and you're like, this is not moving, it's breaking the cloud, it's still not moving, what's going on? You need to understand the stock moves with a catalyst, with the volume. So always look for
mhm,
something which is a news, maybe an earning coming up, maybe after earning move, pre-earning move. You make those lists and then focus on them. I tweeted out a list last Sunday about all the earnings for these 2 weeks. So you
mhm.
can focus on them and they will definitely give you a pre and post earning moves.
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's see
absolutely.
how the people are doing on YouTube. Any questions? Did they find the stream beneficial? Hopefully you guys were able to follow through on the PLTR analysis and made sense. Always look, whenever you're looking at these growth names, always look their revenue and earnings growth. And if something like Palantir, look at their margins. The margins should not be decreasing, margins should be increasing. That's why we pay them overvaluation, right? So people cry about
Right.
overvaluation. So you want to see that if the companies keep growing like insanely, I mean, look at it. 1.32 billion was expected, it made 1.4 billion,
Yep.
right? And it has a
70%.
57%
Yeah.
57% margin. I mean, yeah, it's overvaluation doesn't really matter. The stock is going to hold. If the market environment was what it was 6 months ago, PLTR would have been 190, 200 by now. So you have to also to understand the market environment. What is market willing to pay, right? Sometimes market is willing to pay 100 times earnings. They don't really care. I mean, they just pay to the moon. Sometimes, like software, you think those companies are bad? CRMs, no. They're actually doing much better earnings than what they were doing a year ago, but still their price is lower than what it was a year ago, or maybe some of them a little higher there. It's just what market wants to pay, right? But
Yep.
end of it, of course, the fundamentals count. They will come back, but right now the software is not getting any love. That's the other reason PLTR response is not enough. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it investors are happy now, they can hold. But since the software is not getting love, you need to understand the market environment before you make your financial decisions.
Yep. We
Yeah.
have the sidekick analysis right here as well. You can see nicely on this chart right here the
Yeah.
actual EPS and the actual revenue versus what was estimated in the previous. Again, it was a 70% revenue growth compared to the last quarter. You guys can see that right here on the reports tab, 78%. Let's go back to revenue, 70% on revenue. And that is their highest year over year or quarter over quarter growth yet. I mean, the last one was 62, before that, 48%. I mean, it just keeps going up, and that is
Yeah, I mean,
exactly what we
you
need to
have to
see.
think it this way. Like, why would you buy a stock? Why would you pay for this stock? So what that says is, if it grows at this pace, in another year, it'll be making $2 billion a quarter. Maybe in
Right.
4 years, it might be making $6 billion a quarter. So you have to think that way. That way the stock price will keep going up if it's showing that much growth, right? I mean, Nvidia makes what, 50 billion a quarter, right? So imagine
Yeah.
if Palantir makes 10 billion a quarter in 3 years, who knows, right? So things like that. So the growth, Nvidia was making 20 billion a quarter like 1 year ago. They were probably
Right.
making 3 billion a quarter 5 years ago. So that's how you analyze. That's how you become a good investor and
Yep.
good trader. Yeah.
That's why forward guidance is so important too, because they're coming out and they're saying they're expecting to grow more than what analysts were expecting and what they were expecting before, which is very important for the stock price going forward. Because everything that we already see now is pretty much out there. Everybody knows they're growing a ton, but if they come out and say actually we're going to stop growing, that is very not great for the stock price in the short term and the long term. Really, you want to see and watch out for that forward guidance. And we had Sidekick go ahead and analyze it right here as well. Again, both beat for the entire year 2026 and for quarter one by 16% for both. Says the guidance is absurdly strong, and Sidekick AI can help you do all this. This is available on TrendSpider, and then it's given Palantir a buy rating now. So before it said hold, but after it saw the numbers, now it's like, all right, held that 150. It's provided excellent earnings numbers, and now it's giving it a buy rating.
Yeah, so somebody was so on to X, somebody was saying, "Hey, Disney did better earnings than Palantir, but Disney is down." So see, that's the thing, which
Mm,
is amateur trader, amateur investor. First of all, that trader does not understand Disney is a dividend stock. You know,
yeah.
Palantir is a growth stock. Palantir is growing 100% revenues. you know Disney, you
Yeah.
think, what will Disney do? Make three more Marvel movies? Make another Disney World? It's not going to grow like at that pace. Disney is already where it's supposed to be. It's a different kind of investment structure.
Mm,
So you don't compare like that. You compare growth versus growth, right? If you want to compare, you compare SanDisk versus Seagate. That's
right.
what you do, right? Yeah, that's just me saying, oh, Verizon did a better earning than ASTS. Okay, it doesn't make sense, because
Yeah.
then those investors, so yeah, so need to understand those things as well. You can't just
Yeah.
compare.
Yeah. Gotta compare apples to apples, guys. Absolutely. Got to understand the different types of stocks. There's value stocks, there's growth stocks. Very, of course, important distinction there. Dividend stocks and yeah, spying after hours, not moving a ton. Let's check QQQ. QQQ up a little bit in the after hours session. I think IWM was up really good today as well, the small cap name. So, pretty nice start to the week.
Yeah,
Someone's
pretty
asking
bullish
about
start of the week. I will probably recap it in tonight's YouTube recap. So how we traded that. So it was pretty solid day in the community for us.
yeah, look at AMD. AMD's out here up pretty good in the after hours session. See if there's any news. 27 minutes ago. Yeah, they have earnings coming up as well this week, so it's probably just moving on some news on that. Looks like there was a good analyst saying something about CPU demand could help as companies shapes their AI strategy. So, AMD is up pretty good in the after-hour session. Let's take a look at NVIDIA because NVIDIA is mostly down, which is interesting. Trading under a lot of resistance there.
Mhm.
Let's flick over back to Palantir. We got about 26 minutes until that earnings call. So if you guys are out there in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Ripster while he's here, definitely let us know. People are asking about GEV and GME. Let's take a look at GEV. That's a pretty fun name.
GEV, GEVs, of course, it's a growth of provides energy to all the infrastructure, AI infrastructure name. So GEV is, yes, we discussed in the community as well. GEV is going to go higher because it's the leader in AI infrastructure energy name, right? We were trading it other day as well, and now it's breaking out of its all-time high consolidation. So
Yeah,
GEV is a no-brainer. Any huge sell-off will be an opportunity to buy that one. So GE
yeah.
is a no-brainer. Somebody was talking. Okay, so all right. So somebody was saying PLTR is going down. So see, some of you traders, you need to stop looking at that 1 minute candle making a lows and saying it's going down. That's what that's what I teach in my community as well. Like, new traders, they often see a candle and it's going down, it's going down. They like run around like a SpongeBob, nervous. You need to analyze the price in a better way. It's not going down. The price is just can't go up. It's so you want to see the trend. Trend has uptrend has pullbacks, right? It is holding a key level, right? So that's fine. It's if it's finding resistance at 161, there's a big seller there. It's waiting for the call. The When it will really go down is when it goes back to 150. Then yes, you can say that it goes down. But this is what happens many times. Traders think they're in a swing trade investments. They think it's going down where it's a normal move. They cut their swing investment and the next day it goes up. And that's why you size smaller so you don't want to panic on any pullbacks. Have your plan, have your risk already defined. So let's say you bought PLTR as a swing after earnings. If you were live when we were mentioning it to buy over 150, um, you have nothing to think about. You bought it, you put your alerts under 150, just forget about it. That $8 pullback doesn't mean anything to you because that's your stop. If you believe that it's going to go higher, so that's where you just have to, if you were scalping, you got $8 9 already, just leave a runner, just keep eyes. So that's it. So always whenever you're trading, make sure you have a pre-plan, so you don't make a stupid decision after you are in a position. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Great
Yeah, that's
advice.
nice. The what you have right there is the 5 minute candles with the
Hmm.
Fibonacci's. It's pretty nice. It is showing you that what are the key levels, right? The Fibonacci is pretty nice. It's showing us that 158 is a level of importance there, right there. If it holds, we're gonna bounce back to 160. Yeah, see, nice, beautiful.
Yep. Got the cloud support continually moving up right on below there.
Yeah.
And then let's see, a couple of people are interested in LITE. Let's take a look at this one. Maybe on the daily. Looks like another stock that's breaking out. Um, looks like to all-time highs. I don't know if you've seen this one,
Yeah,
Rip.
no, Light is also a growth stock.
Yeah.
They got an upgrade from Morgan Stanley, I think.
Let's
Let's
see.
take a look here.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley. I see Morgan Stanley raises price target to 350, which is interesting because they're at 419 right now, but still was a raise.
Mm.
And yeah, again, a growth stock. You see nice revenue growth here on Light ever since Q1 of 2025. Same with
I mean,
EPS.
it's a niche field, right? What they do, lasers and opticals.
Yeah, but yeah, crazy trend here on the weekly and the daily continues to make new highs. So, you could just long this and set your stops below the clouds or, whatever you guys tend to use. And like Ripster said, it's all about having a plan,
Yeah,
before you
and you
make
want to
any
find
trades.
these leaders, right? Don't look
Yeah.
for the stocks which are low, low, low in last 2, 3 quarters. Look for the stocks, scan for the stocks which beat earnings last 2 quarters, and their chart is at 52-week high, ideally all-time high. Look for those
Mhm.
setups. Those are your swing investments you want to be in.
Yeah. We
Which
actually
are
have a cool
yeah,
scanner too for that. It's a
yeah,
recent power gap scan. It finds stocks that have gapped up recently, mostly on earnings, and that also beat earnings. So it's pretty cool. I see here like Meta pops up, that nice big gap. What else we got? GM has actually been interesting. They had a power earnings gap, so it's a pretty cool
yeah, yeah.
scan.
Yeah. GM we traded it and the earnings as
Nice.
well. Yeah. Yeah, anything that's breaking out of the earning consolidation, and these things I have been teaching for 8, 9 years now. It's all over my Twitter, my YouTube. Um, that anything is this consolidation at all-time highs, up, down, and it's been beating revenues, EPS, and growth for last couple of quarters. It's a good swing, few quarters. If it is an IPO, trading over IPO highs, that IPO, let's say a year ago, and all his 3, 4 earnings have been growth, growth, growth. That's a good investment. That's how we were able to ride Reddit when after IPO in August 24, it ran from $50 all the way to $200 because
Yep.
it was increasing revenue, EPS every quarter.
Yep.
So it's pretty simple things to find your swing setups. We will be launching our own swing investment research service soon as well. So it's under
Nice.
works. So
Sounds good.
yeah, so
Yeah, Reddit was a great one. Absolutely. Their
yeah,
revenue growth has been phenomenal ever since they've already doubled their revenue,
yeah. I
essentially
mean, it's
since
a recent
20.
IPO, right? A recent IPO. And imagine you bought it at IPO, man. You already made like 400% your investment in.
3, 4x. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are many ways to invest and trade. You just have to find what is makes sense to you.
Yep.
Dip buying weak stocks never made sense to me. So for some people
No,
it
yeah.
works. 52-week lows. I don't have time to sit in a stock like Zoom or Roku, which is dead for 3 years,
Hmm.
right? Even when SoFi was under 10, I said just leave it alone. I didn't
That's
have time.
fair.
Those were 2, 3 years of pain on SoFi investors.
Yeah.
But once it started to break out of 10 and 8, that was time to get back in. If you go to the weekly and monthly chart, I think we discussed it last time too. You see that?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So what the investors did from that 22 to 25, 3 years of pain.
Really
Keep buying
was.
the dips, buy the dips at 10, goes at 7, buy the dips at 7, goes at 5, buy that 5, goes a little bit under 5, pops and drops.
Yep.
But when the thing changes, when it got out of the range, the first signal was that 8 breakout and higher lows when 6 became a level, and the real breakout came over 10. And that, even if you invested at that time, you made 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
the breakout right there around like 10.
Yeah.
It's definitely like you could have avoided all that pain, like you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just talking about the different ways you could be an investor in the market to
Yeah.
look for what you want to do. You
You know,
can like a stock, you can like the fundamentals. Fundamentals can tell you what to buy, but the technicals will tell you when to buy. So
right.
make sure you learn that.
Good combo of both is very nice. Very,
Yeah,
very nice. But
yeah.
yeah, either way, it's good either way. Some people maybe just don't have the time. They just want to buy stocks that they like. That's all right. But you got
Your
to be aware of the
scanners,
risk.
Mike, your scanners have those fundamentals in them, like
Yeah.
earning
No, you
growth,
can add
EPS growth.
fundamentals. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You can add
Yeah.
revenue growth. You can add EPS growth. You can make it.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's actually
Nice.
very nice. Let me see
Nice.
if I have one, or I just open the market scanner here and show you real quick. Point and click, create a group. But you can see fundamentals right here.
Hmm.
We have a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, again, EPS,
Nice. I
all
like
the
it.
stuff, debt ratios, current
Yeah, no.
ratios.
So for new investors, I just like to keep it pretty simple, because many times you get confused balance sheet, debt ratio, this, that. You don't really
Right.
need that much unless you are like, you know, um, a dividend stock investor, where you want to dig the balance sheets. You just, if you're a growth investor, you only need few things, right? Market environment, hard theme, the growth, the margins, the moat, all that. So
Yeah, a really good one actually is the CanSlim
yeah,
scan. This one combines. I don't know if you've heard of CanSlim. Probably have
yeah,
the William
yeah,
O'Neill.
yeah, 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 I know.
But that
Yeah,
we have a scan based on
yeah.
that, and it's
And
basically
some
scanning.
investments will be just hot themes. I was actually planning to do a webinar on like hot themes, no revenue, no profit, just a hot theme, and they
Mhm.
can go 500% like Oklo,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, Okla is perfect
And you
example.
can you can kill yourself being short. A trader did, like, went short, and and I don't let anybody do that, but you can find those opportunities too. But either you cry about fundamentals and short and get squeezed, or you figure out what market is pumping right now. If market is pumping stocks like robotics, space, drones, you ride the
Mhm.
wave. So that's the most important thing. So, but
RK.
always check whenever you invest in something.
Mhm.
Somebody tells you, "Hey, dude, buy this stock. It will make you more lost of money." First, check earnings, growth, revenue, growth. Then of course you can check the debt, the market caps, and then the valuation compared to the peers, the theme, all that. So cool. So, Mike, anything else? I think I'm gonna step away. You can take the
Yeah.
call.
No,
But if
no worries.
yeah,
No worries. Thank you so much for coming on, Ripster. I'm gonna
yeah,
stick around, guys, and we're gonna play the earnings call in like 15 minutes. But
yeah.
yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming
Okay,
on.
so guys, those who are still trading Palantir, so Palantir is waiting for the earnings call. There's a big resistance at 160.61, and there's a support right here on those Fibonacci levels that Mike drew around 154, 157 right now. 157. Let's see those levels here. Yeah. So we have that 156 area, then there's another one at that 157, 58
And
area. So
58, yeah.
yeah, so if you don't want to see this cloud right here break. As long as that holds, we have chance to break out of the flag up, right? So even if it pulls back, if it holds 155, that'll be okay. If not, then it's gonna go back to 150s, and we'll see. We'll trade it tomorrow. We'll be ready for it tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. I appreciate. Let's see how. Let's see here. Oh wow, 6,500 people on X. Thanks guys. Thanks
All right.
everybody for joining. Take care. If you have
See you
any
later, Rip.
questions, DM me
Yep.
on X. If you need anything, just feel free to DM me. Take care. Bye.
Sounds good. All right. Have a good one.
And
Hey
give a
guys.
shot to TrendSpider. Make sure you try it out. They have some $7 thing going on. Amazing
Yep.
team. Well done, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you, Rip.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. All right, you guys. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. That was the legendary Ripster. That guy is amazing. He's the creator of these, MA clouds. I'm sure you guys, if you know anything about technical analysis, you probably have seen his clouds as indicators on, they're pretty much on every platform. So very, very cool guy. All of his info is down in the description below and in the chat somewhere. But let's take a look here. We got still 10 minutes or so until the earnings call goes live. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know down in the chat below. We can cover it. Yeah, Rip is awesome. Very, very cool. We'll always love having Ripster on the stream. All of his indicators are free, by the way. These Ripster MTF clouds that are on my chart. They're available on TrendSpider. And you guys can get a trial of the platform for just $7 today and test them out. I'll drop a link down below in the chat right now on YouTube, so you guys can take a look at it. Yeah, we will be watching the earnings call. It starts in 10 minutes, so you guys stick around for that. And yeah, IONQ looks pretty gnarly on the daily chart, but again, it is at support. But let's go back and see what Palantir is doing. Let's see. Someone asked about TER in the chat. Let's take a look. Wow. TER. This one was actually on my radar, one of my scanners. I think to potentially buy recently. Let me take a look at my own personal accounts over here. Yeah, really wish I got into this one. I specifically didn't buy it because of earnings today, but clearly I should have. Let's take a look here. Insane forward guidance here on Teradyne. That's TER. What separates y'all from TradingView? Ethan, sorry. The market scanners and AI tools are absolutely the things that separate us from TradingView. If you guys were here on the stream earlier, Rip was saying that his scanners are not available anywhere else except for TrendSpider, and that's because the TrendSpider scanners are just that much better. Like, honestly, it's so easy to build a scan. For example, we have one built for his MTF clouds, and this one specifically that I have over here that we built that you can just import for free is finding names that are rejecting these red clouds. Then we have one that are bouncing off of the green clouds. And the ability to scan for this stuff in real time, you guys, is truly a game changer. You can scan through like literally like 3,000 stocks at one time. And it's super easy to build. For example, if I go ahead and just open the market scanner right here, you can just type in AI what you want to see. So for example, I'll just type find stocks that had a 821 bullish EMA crossover. I'm just going to press find symbols now. And trust me, guys, in the back end, it's doing a lot of stuff that it seems like it's easy, but it's really not. And it didn't find anything in the S&P 100, which is default. But if you go to like something like the NASDAQ NMS and press scan, we'll find stuff that is all having 821 EMA crossovers. And if you wanted to make that on another platform like TradingView, you guys, you literally have to like set up all the parameters one by one. Like, this is a pretty basic scanner, but it's just an example. But that is definitely one of the top reasons that TrendSpider is, or one of the ways that TrendSpider is better than TradingView. And then also our Sidekick AI is absolutely insane as well. The trial for TrendSpider is just on the website in general. I did just post it as well into the chat. You can use that link right there, or just go to trendspider.com. You'll be able to get the $7 trial, you guys. And yeah, you can try out everything on the platform, including Sidekick AI, which I can show you guys as well. It's our AI trading agent. It's essentially if you took ChatGPT and gave it access to all of the stock market's data. For example, I can have it go here and analyze Palantir earnings again for us with this prompt. You just prompt it just like you would ChatGPT. Saying just analyze it today. And let's see what it goes ahead and says. Can we set the scanners to do live scanning all the time? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but you can sit there and refresh the scan as many times as you want throughout the day. So yeah, I mean, you definitely can. You can also set it to automatically send your scan results right to your inbox. For example, if you wanted to see these Ripster scans, all the results every single day without having to run it, you can press run this scanner in a schedule, and then you can have it repeat, every day at a specific time, and it sends the results right to your inbox. So yes, you definitely can. And then yeah, here's Sidekick. I just basically, it has all the info that we pay for, earnings data, fundamentals, technicals, alerts, so much stuff, you guys. You can set alerts on scans, absolutely. This thing can build charts out of data without you having to even type it in. I just told it to give me, Palantir's EPS data versus what it was prior and the estimate, and it put in a nice bar chart for me. It tells me everything. It's really good at doing analyzing recent news as well. Give you a bull case and a bear case, and it can even tell you, like, obviously, none of this should be taken as financial advice, but if you ask it, it can tell you like what it thinks buy, sell, hold based on your strategy. So lots of really sick stuff on here, you guys, that is not available anywhere else. Like, I don't know any other platform that has AI as good as Sidekick, not even close. And I have used every single AI model. Trust me, just try it out. It's $7. You guys will be surprised at how nice it is. But we got, what is it? 6 minutes until the earnings call. And Palantir is holding up pretty well at this 158. As I say that, it drops right below. Yeah, you guys, now's the time. This $7 trial ends today. So test it out. I mean, there's not much to lose. I'll drop the link again. Oh, by the way, you guys, we also do a free weekly newsletter. You can get free trading ideas sent right to your guys' inbox every single Sunday. Just signing up using the first link down below in the description. Entire team here helps put it together, give you guys a quick, a detailed recap of everything that happened in the markets using all of our tools, all of our AI tools. And it's completely free. So just click the link down below and enter your email, and you guys will get it every single Sunday for free. Ramos, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining in. We go live, 3 to 4 times a week. I'll be live every day except for Friday this week. So just, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you want more than 25 Sidekick messages per month, you do have to go ahead and pay for them. You guys do get 25 free messages to Sidekick here. You can see there's a counter potentially at the bottom. I think there is for you guys. But just, you can pay for it. You can upgrade it. Once you run out, I believe it'll prompt you to go ahead and upgrade so you can buy more. That's if you want. Again, you do get those 25 for free, but you can buy more. Once you run out, Sidekick should prompt you on how to do so, how to upgrade. And then also, guys, something that I mention a lot is our customer support. You can click contact us at the bottom right. One of the most crazy things that we have that TradingView doesn't is live support. If you guys are a TrendSpider user, you can get a one-on-one coaching call with a product expert. And then you can also just send a message anytime down there. And we have customer support there willing to help you guys. They are very knowledgeable on the platform. Let's take a look at TER. Someone said it's up 20%. Yeah, that is an insane move on TER. I'm really, really wishing I went ahead and bought that right now, you guys. That is okay, though. Can't catch them all. If you guys are excited for this earnings call, make sure to like the video because it's starting in 3 minutes. I know I'll definitely be sitting here watching Alex Karp pump up Palantir stock as he always does. Always a fun time to watch. Let me see here. I have it pulled up. Yeah, we got 2 minutes. So, get in those last minute questions if you guys want. I can use Sidekick to go ahead and analyze TER real quick as well. So I can show you guys how Sidekick works in action. Like somebody's asking, like, check out TER. What is going on? Just put ask Sidekick. It's super easy. Honestly, you don't really have to do half the research as you normally do when you have access to Sidekick because it's just so good at doing everything for you. I mean, the main problem with AI, you guys, is the access to data that it has. Claude, ChatGPT, they can search the internet, but that's honestly probably doing more harm than good with all the biased Reddit comments and articles. Sidekick has access to all of the real data that we pay for, and it's all vetted real market data. So you get almost no hallucinations, you guys, when you ask it for things. So here's the TER report. So this is the reason why it's up 20%. You can see EPS came in at 1.8, estimated at 1.36, obviously a 32% surprise and 89% year-over-year growth. Same with revenue. Looks like over $1 billion, 43% growth compared to the last quarter and way above the estimates. Forward guidance, double beat, 67% above, 29% above. All I did was ask Sidekick and got all that in 2 seconds, you guys. Didn't have to, string together a bunch of articles, find out who's actually posting the real numbers on Twitter or whatever. So definitely check it out. And it looks like we're going to get these Palantir earnings any second right now, or the video is going to start any second. I see it popping up on my screen. So once it starts, I will go ahead and hop off and you guys can watch it. Again, make sure you guys subscribe and like the video. DV Metris, I just went over why Teradyne is up. Again, using Sidekick AI. It's because they absolutely destroyed earnings, TLDR. EPS and revenue crushed it, and also the forward guidance crushed it as well. 67% beat on EPS, 29% beat on revenue guidance. And yeah, absolutely insane there on TEM. Oh, here is Palantir earnings call. Let me make sure I'm streaming it live for you guys.
Relations website. During the call,
Let me know
we
if
will
you
make
guys can
statements
hear
regarding our
this.
business that may be considered forward-looking within applicable securities laws, including statements regarding our first quarter and fiscal 2026 results, management's expectations for our future financial and operational performance, and other statements regarding our plans,
Of course,
prospects,
Brian.
and expectations.
Thanks for always showing up,
These
by the
statements are
way.
not promises or
Shout out to
guarantees and
Brian
are subject
Pike.
to
I
risks
see him
and
in the
uncertainties,
chats
which could cause them to
basically
differ
every
materially from
live.
actual results. Information concerning those risks is available in our earnings press release distributed after the market closed today and in our SEC
Perfect.
filings.
I will hop
We
off, let
undertake
you
no
guys
obligation
listen
to update
to the
forward-looking
GOAT
statements except
CEO
as required
himself,
by law.
Alex Karp.
Further, during the course of today's call, we will refer to certain adjusted financial measures. These non-GAAP financial measures should be considered in addition to, not as a substitute for or in isolation from, GAAP measures. Additional information about these non-GAAP measures, including reconciliation of non-GAAP to comparable GAAP measures, is included in our press release and investor presentation provided today. Our press release, investor presentation, and other earnings materials are available on our investor relations website at investors.palantir.com. Over the course of the call, we will refer to various growth rates when discussing our business. These rates reflect year-over-year comparisons unless otherwise stated. Joining me on today's call are Alex Karp, Chief Executive Officer, Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer, Dave Glazer, Chief Financial Officer, and Ryan Taylor, Chief Revenue Officer and Chief Legal Officer. I'll now turn it over to Ryan to start the call.
Our fourth quarter results are nothing short of historic, capping off a monumental year for our business. In Q4, overall revenue surged 70% year over year, our highest growth rate as a public company, propelled by the relentless momentum of our U.S. business, which now commands 77% of our total revenue, up 93% year over year and 22% sequentially. Our Rule of 40 score reached new heights at 127, up 46 points year over year and 13 points quarter over quarter, proving that hypergrowth and exceptional profitability aren't mutually exclusive, but rather the inevitable outcome of Palantir delivering transformational impact at scale. We closed our highest TCV quarter ever at $4.3 billion, and fourth quarter trailing 12-month revenue from our top 20 customers increased 45% year over year to $94 million per customer, a testament to our customers' conviction. Our customers aren't tentatively trying AI. They're committing to it at scale with Palantir as the driving force. The rapid advancement of AI models is continuing to drive the commoditization of cognition. The next step is for the market to differentiate between those who are supplying the commoditization of cognition and those who are scaling the leverage made possible by it. We are the only enterprise software company that made a conscious choice to focus exclusively on the latter, delivering real-world value for our customers by maximally leveraging these models in production. Palantir is an N of 1. This is what makes a Rule of 127 possible. This is why customers who've crossed the chasm with Palantir, the AI haves, are defining the future of their industries, while those still on the other side, the AI have-nots, are fighting for survival in the present. As Johnson Controls noted about our work together, quote, "It is really incredible to see that you can transform a 140-year-old company with the power of AI." I'm seeing this play out across our customer base. We are moving customers from AI adopters to AI native enterprises, transforming execution into exponential advantage. This is summed up best by an executive at Thomas Cavanagh Construction who noted, quote, "We've gone all in so much so that every other software must justify its existence. And so far, they haven't been able to. 97% of our employees use Foundry every day. Foundry is our operating system." And he continued, quote, "The ontology is the secret weapon. Nothing else comes close. And not only are we getting rid of third-party software, we've replaced their functionality and then beaten them to new features all within the year because of the ontology." Our US commercial business grew 137% year over year and 28% sequentially, building on the blistering pace of 121% year over year in Q3 and 93% year over year growth in Q2, defying conventional enterprise software dynamics. This isn't just growth, it's compounding acceleration. AIP continues to fundamentally transform how quickly our customers realize value, collapsing the time from initial engagement to transformational impact. Lear noted at our recent DevCon conference their experience starting with 100 users and 4 use cases and growing to 16,000 users and 280 use cases. We're seeing the effects across our entire customer base. Existing customers are expanding faster and larger. For example, a utility company expanded from $7 million ACV in Q1 2025 to $31 million ACV by year-end, while an energy company expanded from $4 million ACV in Q1 2025 to over $20 million ACV by year-end, driven by value generated from new use cases. In addition, new customers are starting with substantial initial deals. A healthcare company completed 2 boot camps with us last summer and signed a $96 million deal with us before the end of the year. An engineering services company saw a series of demos in the fall, then signed an $80 million deal before year-end. Speed to production and transformational scale is no longer optional, it's existential. Palantir remains the only platform delivering that speed at enterprise scale. This revolution isn't limited to just companies. It extends to countries, with the US leading the way. Our US government business grew 66% year over year and 17% sequentially, driven by our mission impact across the Department of Defense, as well as accelerating momentum in civil agencies. The US Navy awarded Palantir a contract worth up to $448 million to modernize the shipbuilding supply chain and accelerate delivery of naval vessels. This engagement exemplifies how Palantir's supply chain expertise, honed across commercial and defense customers, is now being deployed to solve some of the most strategically important challenges facing our nation, including rebuilding its maritime industrial base. The strength of our US government results reflects a fundamental reality. In an era of intensifying global threats and budgetary pressure, the government is turning to software that actually works as speed, precision, and decision advantage are paramount. We're entering 2026 with extremely strong footing. Everything we've built over 2 decades is converging into this moment, and we're charging into the year with unmatched conviction as the defining enterprise software company of this generation. I'll now turn it over to Shyam.
Thanks, Ryan. Our focus with AIP continues to be enterprise autonomy, our normative view of the value of AI in the enterprise. HiveMind now lets the AI develop novel solutions to emergent challenges and to identify hidden opportunities. And the rest of AIP enables you to turn those ideas into an implemented reality. Closed-loop evolution of the business with AI, possible because of AIP and ontology. The HiveMind framework is being applied to broader problem sets. We used HiveMind to generate a bespoke AIP demo for a specific customer based only on their website and other public information. The company's CTO was blown away by how good the demo fit their internal challenges, even though it was only based on information in the public domain. HiveMind is just that good. We're going to continue to invest in closing the loop between HiveMind's output and the autonomous execution of these ideas at our customers. AIFD continues to delight. AIFD is now capable of powering complex SAP ERP migrations from ECC to S4. Years of work now done in as little as 2 weeks. And we are generalizing AIFD's capabilities to do this for a broader and broader set of problems at our customers. AIFD and OSDK has unleashed pro-code builders in our platforms. We serve over 1 billion API gateway requests a week from applications built by our customers on top of AIP with OSDK. Maven usage is at all-time highs, supporting simultaneous real-world events across combatant commands in the Joint Force. Maven will continue to be rolled out to all combatant commands and many more networks over the rest of this government fiscal year. But Maven is also pushing to the edge. We completed a live fire exercise with Maven coordinating with UAV assets through our new Maven Edge agent called Mage, enabling the declarative statement of mission intent and fully onboard planning, reaction to emergent battlefield realities, and execution. AIP is becoming the default builder platform in the Department of War. Uniformed service members, primes, federally funded research and development centers, all in Maven, Vantage, Envision, Warp Core, and more, all building, not just consuming AI applications. We're seeing green suiters and blue suiters building their own agent swarms to transform how they fight. As with any good revolution, the innovation is coming from the edge, not the program offices. It's the E4 in Hawaii, the E8 in South Carolina. These are the folks pathfinding how AI is transforming the Joint Force with every code commit they make. Gotham's new suite of integrated capabilities, platformed on Foundry, met their moment. Kairos for integrated planning and sync matrices, Nexus for dynamic command relationships and unit task hierarchies, and Workbench to automate collections, fires, and battle damage assessment. These aren't 3 standalone capabilities. There are 3 new dimensions of the prism that turn battlefield complexity into lethality. They all work together, building on each other. Warp Speed continued to build momentum across American industry. ShipOS was the most significant development in Q4, rolling out Warp Speed to accelerate submarine production and sustainment across shipbuilders, shipyards, and critical suppliers. At one shipbuilder, we took planning from 160 hours of effort to 10 minutes. At a shipyard, we took material review from weeks to less than an hour. But most exciting to me is proving what we always believed to be true, that AI will create jobs. This is Jevons paradox in action. By reducing the deadweight loss of time spent planning and ensuring the availability of materials, one of our customers was able to add a 3rd shift, because now there was more work waiting to be done that was shovel-ready and executable. We've been so impressed with the latent talent in the submarine industrial base that we're launching an American Tech Fellowship exclusively for them later this month. This will be an 8-week course to upskill users at suppliers and shipyards so they can build their own AI applications, unleashing the profound domain expertise to accelerate the delivery of one of our military's most important capabilities. Other Warp Speed wins, one customer, making a mature weapon system at full rate production, was able to improve root cause analysis coverage from less than 20% to over 99% in less than a week. On the other end, a different customer making a brand new weapon system that is still constantly changing designs was able to see a 40x improvement in throughput with a production system that scales with the design velocity rather than breaking under it. With that, I'll turn it over to Dave to talk us through the numbers.
Thanks, Shyam. We had an exceptional fourth quarter with our Rule of 40 score increasing 13 points quarter over quarter to 127. In the fourth quarter, we generated our highest ever reported revenue growth rate of 70% year over year, exceeding the high end of our prior guidance by over 900 basis points and representing a 3,400 basis point increase compared to the growth rate in Q4 of last year. Full year 2025 revenue grew 56% year over year. On the strength of our 2025 results, we are guiding a full year 2026 revenue of $7.190 billion at the midpoint, representing 61% growth year over year. We reached another billion-dollar milestone in the quarter, with revenue from our U.S. business surpassing $1 billion for the first time. Accelerating demand for AIP continues to drive the outperformance in our U.S. business overall, which grew 93% year over year and 22% sequentially in the fourth quarter. Our U.S. commercial business grew 137% year over year and 28% sequentially, and our U.S. government business grew 66% year over year and 17% sequentially. We delivered these outstanding top-line results with expanding profitability. In the fourth quarter, we generated $798 million in adjusted operating income, representing a 57% margin and exceeding our prior guidance by 500 basis points. Full year 2025 adjusted operating income was $2.3 billion, representing a margin of 50% and expansion of 1,100 basis points compared to 2024. We generated $2.3 billion in adjusted free cash flow for the full year, representing a 51% margin and 82% growth year over year. Turning to our global top-line results, fourth quarter revenue grew 70% year over year and 19% sequentially to $1.407 billion. Full year revenue grew 56% year over year to $4.475 billion. Fourth quarter U.S. revenue grew 93% year over year and 22% sequentially to $1.076 billion. Full year U.S. revenue grew 75% year over year to $3.320 billion. Excluding the impact of revenue from strategic commercial contracts, fourth quarter revenue grew 72% year over year and 19% sequentially, and full year revenue grew 59% year over year. We closed our highest ever quarter of TCV bookings at $4.3 billion, up 138% year over year. This eclipses our prior highest quarter of TC bookings just last quarter by over $1.5 billion. Customer count grew 34% year over year and 5% sequentially to 954 customers. Revenue from our largest customers continues to expand. Fourth quarter trailing 12-month revenue from our top 20 customers increased 45% year over year to $94 million per customer. Now moving to our commercial segment. Fourth quarter commercial revenue grew 82% year over year and 23% sequentially to $677 million. Full year commercial revenue grew 60% year over year to $2.073 billion. Excluding the impact from strategic commercial contracts, fourth quarter commercial revenue grew 86% year over year and 24% sequentially, and full year commercial revenue grew 65% year over year. We closed $2.6 billion in commercial TCV bookings in the fourth quarter, representing 161% growth year over year and 83% sequentially. AIP continues to drive existing customer expansions and new customer conversions in the U.S. Fourth quarter U.S. commercial revenue grew 137% year over year and 28% sequentially to $507 million. Full year U.S. commercial revenue grew 109% year over year to $1.465 billion. Excluding revenue from strategic commercial contracts, fourth quarter U.S. commercial revenue grew 142% year over year and 28% sequentially, and full year U.S. commercial revenue grew 113% year over year. In the fourth quarter, we closed $1.3 billion of U.S. commercial TCV bookings, representing growth of 67% year over year. In 2025, we closed $4.3 billion of U.S. commercial TCV bookings, a 161% increase from last year, highlighting the accelerating demand for AI production use cases. Total remaining deal value in our U.S. commercial business grew 145% year over year and 21% sequentially. Our U.S. commercial customer count grew to 571 customers, reflecting growth of 49% year over year and 8% sequentially. Fourth quarter international commercial revenue grew 8% year over year and 12% sequentially to $171 million. Full year international commercial revenue grew 2% year over year to $608 million. In the fourth quarter, we closed $1.3 billion of international commercial TCV bookings, driven by long-term renewals that we signed with several long-standing international commercial customers. Revenue from strategic commercial contracts was $2.1 million for the quarter, representing 0.1% of overall revenue. We anticipate first quarter 2026 revenue from these contracts to between $1 and $3 million, compared to $5.1 million in the first quarter of 2025. We anticipate 2026 revenue from these contracts to be less than $7 million, or less than 0.1% of full year revenue. Shifting to our government segment. Fourth quarter government revenue grew 60% year over year and 15% sequentially to $730 million. Full year government revenue grew 53% year over year to $2.402 billion. Fourth quarter U.S. government revenue grew 66% year over year and 17% sequentially to $570 million. Full year U.S. government revenue grew 55% year over year to $1.855 billion. This growth was driven by continued execution in existing programs and new awards reflecting the growing demand for AI in our government software offerings. Fourth quarter international government revenue grew 43% year over year and 9% sequentially to $160 million, bolstered primarily by our continued work in the UK. Full year international government revenue grew 47% year over year to $547 million. We closed our highest ever quarter of TCV bookings of $4.3 billion, up 138% year over year and 54% sequentially. On a dollar-weighted duration basis, TCV bookings grew 166% year over year. Net dollar retention was 139%, an increase of 500 basis points from last quarter. The increase was driven both by expansions at existing customers and new customers acquired in Q4 of last year as we see the effect of the AI revolution. As net dollar retention does not include revenue from new customers that were acquired in the past 12 months, it does not yet fully capture the acceleration and velocity in our US business over the past year. We ended the fourth quarter with $11.2 billion in total remaining deal value, an increase of 105% year over year and 29% sequentially, and $4.2 billion in remaining performance obligations, an increase of 144% year over year and 62% sequentially. In the fourth quarter, we signed a few significant long-term renewals with long-standing international customers, which provided a tailwind to RPO growth. As a reminder, RPO is primarily comprised of our commercial business, as it does not take into account contracts with an initial term of less than 12 months and contractual obligations that fall beyond termination for convenience clauses, both of which are common in most of our government business. Turning to margin and expense. Adjusted gross margin, which excludes stock-based compensation expense, was 86% for the quarter and 84% for the full year. Adjusted income from operations, which excludes stock-based compensation expense and related employer payroll taxes, was $798 million in the fourth quarter, representing an adjusted operating margin of 57%. Full-year adjusted income from operations was $2.254 billion, representing a 50% margin. Q4 adjusted expense was $608 million, up 5% sequentially and 34% year over year, primarily driven by our continued investment in AIP and elite technical hiring. Full-year adjusted expenses were $2.221 billion, up 28% year over year. We continue to expect expenses to increase in 2026 as we remain committed to investing in the product pipeline and the most elite technical talent, all while delivering on our goals of sustained GAAP profitability. Fourth quarter GAAP operating income was $575 million, representing a 41% margin. Full-year GAAP operating income was $1.414 billion, representing a 32% margin. Fourth quarter GAAP net income was $609 million, representing a 43% margin. Full-year GAAP net income was $1.625 billion, representing a 36% margin. Fourth quarter stock-based compensation expense was $196 million, and equity-related employer payroll tax expense was $27 million. Full-year stock-based compensation expense was $684 million, and equity-related employer payroll tax expense was $156 million. Fourth quarter GAAP earnings per share was 24 cents, and full-year GAAP earnings per share was 63 cents. Fourth quarter adjusted earnings per share was 25 cents, and full-year adjusted earnings per share was 75 cents. Additionally, our combined revenue growth and adjusted operating margin accelerated to 127% in the fourth quarter, a 13-point increase to our Rule of 40 score from the prior quarter, and our 10th consecutive quarter of an expanding Rule of 40 score. Our full-year Rule of 40 score was 106%. With our 2026 revenue and adjusted operating income guidance, we are guiding to a Rule of 40 score of 118% for the full year. Turning to our cash flow. In the fourth quarter, we generated $777 million in cash from operations and $791 million in adjusted free cash flow, representing margins of 55 and 56% respectively. For the full year, we generated $2.13 billion in cash from operations and $2.27 billion in adjusted free cash flow, representing margins of 48 and 51% respectively. We ended the quarter with $7.2 billion in cash, cash equivalents, and short-term U.S. Treasury securities. Now turning to our outlook. For Q1 2026, we expect revenue of between $1.532 and $1.536 billion, and adjusted income from operations of between $870 and $874 million. For full year 2026, we expect revenue of between $7.182 and $7.198 billion, U.S. commercial revenue in excess of $3.144 billion, representing a growth rate of at least 115%, adjusted income from operations of between $4.126 and $4.142 billion, adjusted free cash flow of between $3.925 and $4.125 billion, and GAAP operating income and net income in each quarter of this year. With that, I'll turn it over to Alex for a few remarks, and then Anna will kick off the Q&A.
Well, welcome to our earnings call celebrating one of the truly iconic performances in the history of corporate performance or technology. Just to underscore some of the numbers that Glazer read in a kind of dry form, which is very hard to do. This company grew 93% in the US. We had an aggregate growth of 70. Yes, that's a 70 handle. We have a rule of 127. And we are guiding to 61% growth this year. Now, those results would be stellar, unusual, and sublime for a company that was in a much earlier stage of its development. But we have been doing this for quite a while, and you just cannot expect a company like ours to perform at anything like this level. At the beginning of last year, we were guiding to roughly in the 30%, which would be a stellar performance for a company. At the end of the year, we grew our company almost 20% in one quarter. If you were a company sitting in continental Europe or in Canada or in any other similarly situated country, and you grew your whole company 20% and you had a rule of 50, you would be one of the premier companies in your nation, if not in your continent. And we also did this while supporting in critical manner some of the most interesting, intricate, unusual operations that the US government has been involved in, many of which we can't comment on, but were the highlight of last year and were highly motivating to all of us at Palantir. And so this really just raises the question, what do bombastic numbers like this mean? Because, you know, if you're growing a company like ours at 40%, you would then say somehow this is tethered to a broader category, which is doing well. But with a rule of 127 and 70% aggregate growth, 93% growth in the US, you really have to look at this, and the numbers speak volumes that we are an N of one category of our own, and we are doing things unlike any other company has done, which has, of course, been confounding to people over the years because they said we were a services company when we were doing FDEs. They said that our products were somehow merely software. In fact, they are implementation and orchestration machines. And no one thought we'd be able to generate this kind of revenue while having an anemic and declining sales force. And this obviously has import for the world. And what does it mean for the world? Well, it means that first of all, that the way in which we view value is obviously no longer relevant, that the bottom of the stack somehow is where the value is lessened, and the top of the stack where we impregnate the world with AI, with ontology and FDE and tribal knowledge as represented at this table, is actually where the value is created. And that value is so large and so disproportionate that you can create a company that seemingly is exploding in terms of growth and quality of growth. It also means the riff we've been saying for years, that it's chips and ontology, meaning investing purely in commodity products, LLMs that are not orchestrated. Of course, it not only ruins the unit economics of your business, but it also provides the market with a very distorted view of what value creation would mean. Because obviously, if you're making revenue with no way of making profit because the cost of it is so high, that's not valuable. And obviously, if you're producing something that is the same thing everyone else is producing, it's obviously of de minimis or no value. So we've inverted the stack. We've proven that the investment in what we've done is with small numbers can have disproportionate impact both on top and bottom line. And we've also seen, unfortunately, that there's a real hesitance to adopt these kind of products in the West outside of America. And the two places leading here are China and America. And what we're seeing in America is so widely divergent. And so the non-adopters, the have-nots, are hoping for a catch-up function. But these numbers are a breakout function. With these numbers, you have broken through to a new category. It is not the category. The basket of category of AI is actually meaningless. It's the basket of category of performant value creation with the tools we have at hand, of which AI is crucial. And to believe you can go and build companies without this is supremely dangerous. And we're going to see over the next year companies that adopt things that actually work. We know ontology, FDA, orchestration is explosive and revolutionary. And obviously companies cannot be expected to perform at this level because this is truly historic. But how do you even perform at half this level is going to be a real question for tech companies and a real question for countries. Can we produce companies that are producing what we produce in a quarter in a year? And one of the things we've got to figure out in the West is how do we do this? And this is putting enormous political pressure on our institutions because obviously political leaders struggle with how do I provide value when there's a disproportionate have and have not. Now, in the Palantir version, the haves are the workers and the people that know how to actually use these products. And even the ground truth of this is so far away from what people intuitively believe. It's actually not the capitalists against the workers, it's the capitalists and the workers. But that's very confounding to political leaders. And it's confounding to structures that don't know how to adopt this and cultures that are not producing these kind of products. Last not least, these numbers are extraordinary because they're fully organic. They're not just organic because we don't do acquisitions. We don't do acquisitions because we are a thick, dense culture, which means you'd have to fit in. And we have the perfect excuse now of not being able to do them because no one has numbers like this and it would reduce our numbers to do acquisitions. But they're also fully organic in the sense that we have no intertwined economics. Palantir has direct relationships with our clients in defense, intel, and commercial clients. We are not co-investing. We are not investing in commodity products. The numbers are pure. The purity of the Palantir enterprise and the courage of the enterprise. And we have lots of debates internally about what we should do, how we should do it. But from the beginning, we have stuck to our very strong values of expanding what we believe is the noble side of the West, which means being lethal on the front end, meaning outside against adversaries if necessary. Hopefully adversaries do not want to mess with us. And on the inside, meaning domestic institutions, intelligence institutions, essentially taking an incatenation of the Fourth Amendment, which is completely represented by our pipelining, foundry, and impregnating institutions with it so that every institution that uses our product is doing it within conformity of the law and the ethics of America, and hopefully a logical extension of those around the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. We'll now turn to questions from our shareholders before opening up the call. We received a question from Jeff J., who asks, how are you thinking about your international business, and do you anticipate reacceleration in the near future, for instance, due to European rearmament?
Well, Shyam and Ryan should comment on this, but one of the big difficulties outside of America, including the allies, is, and again, as these numbers show, it's not how much you spend, it's with whom. And so we're currently, first of all, Palantir is in a unique position where we really don't have the bandwidth to do anything that's difficult outside of America. So, and as this learning curve goes on, it's more and more difficult to help people understand how to implement these things. And the demand in the US is so great. But the core issue for our allies is going to be, can we get to a point where there's a clear recognition that you're going to have to buy products that are much, much more advanced than what is being built domestically? And that's complicated for them because they tend to want to buy products for themselves. But if you just go back to a wider frame, is this institution load bearing? Is the purchasing structure of a European country actually allowed to bear the load of buying the best product? Can they understand the delta in a way that allows them to make a decision that might go against the narrow economics of their own country? And I think, unfortunately, what you see is you see in the Arab and non-Arab Middle East, so Arab countries in Israel, you see adoption, you see wide-scale adoption in China, and you see a lack of adoption in Canada, Northern Europe, and in Europe in general. But the real difficulty for the world is, if Palantir is going to bear a lot of the weight of this work, we are scaling. I mean, Shyam should talk about this, but like the demands on our product in the U.S. government in defense and in civil are extraordinary. So, how do you in fact even justify moving into something that's more complicated? Is a real issue. And again, but the issue ends up being their issue more than our issue. I think one of the things you're going to see in Northern Europe, Canada, and other places is a real pressure to move to the left and right politically very far, because the way you deal with this, when you don't have an answer to a question, you come up with ideologies that make no sense and you try to implement them. And then that's the pressure they're going to have. The pressure we're going to have as a company, as a country, is how do we actually service the demand at the unyielding level of quality that we demand from ourselves. And the bar at Palantir is not we're the best, it's that it's got to be magical. We're not in the business of delivering the best products. We're in the business of delivering magically projects that are magical on the front line. And we unfortunately can't talk about some of that, but we've seen that in the last year. Magical implementations that have actually changed how people view U.S. deterrence. Obviously, the primary heroes here are the warfighters, but the implementation orchestration, which Shyam and many, many people at Palantir have spent tireless nights working on, has actually changed what people are able to do. If you have any questions about this, you can actually go, if you speak or read French, go into the French newspapers. One of the countries that has the clearest idea of the problem is France, but they don't really know how to solve it because solution involves buying American products, particularly Palantir.
Nothing to add to that. That's great.
Thanks, Alex. Our next question is from Mariana with Bank of America. Mariana, please turn on your camera and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? So 2 questions as usual, one in the commercial side, the other one on defense. On the commercial side, the markets have already decided that 2026 is the show me story for AI. Have you seen that in the customers or software partners? Like you talk about this, I think you call it hesitancy, but like over time you have talked about like this resistance from some corporates to implement AI the way you thought it was the right way. Have you seen a change on that dynamic? The other one is related to ship OS. Shipbuilding has not been the only thing that the Pentagon has struggled to ramp up. There is a major effort to reindustrialize the US, and especially the military-related stuff. But like, is there an opportunity to have like, I don't know, an ammo OS or a missile OS, and like where else we could see that applied?
So I would say our whole commercial go-to-market strategy is showing and actually delivering value impact to our customers directly as quickly as possible. And that's why we're seeing the stories of customers that are starting at larger sizes and expanding more quickly. We closed, in our overall business, we closed 61 deals over $10 million. That's because of the impact that we're delivering to customers. And the customers are, I'm having a lot of those conversations with those customers, and it's all because we're showing them what we can do with the software, and we're showing the impact, and we're the only one that's delivering that leveraged impact from the models with the ontology, with the FD, with our products in those organizations.
Again, here you'd have to disambiguate America from all other markets, but in the American market, we have inbounds where people have already seen proof points at other companies, and not on one use case. It'll be like migration of this kind of product, underwriting, a myriad of use cases. And the conversation 2 years ago was much more, I've heard you're kind of this weird thing that might be able to make it work. In general, the conversation now is, I've heard you made this work. I don't understand where you fit into a slot. The reality of Palantir is we're not a one slot company. So it's like, if you want to view us, what people know us for is it will work, and it'll work really well, and it'll be very quick. And then, but a lot of our customers come now with, I know it'll work. What do I need to do to make this accelerate? And then on the end where it's like not as positive, it might be, I don't quite understand how this would work or why this would work. But there's a lot less of that. And quite frankly, we're in a much better position to shape who we work with than we've ever been. And part of what we're doing, quite frankly, is shaping who we work with. Because, like Ryan is sitting on one of the more interesting deployments, both technically and commercially. And the person running that deployment on their end de facto is the CEO. And they're very far in the weeds. And it's like, and they're like, they've reshaped their org to absorb our product. And like, we've never had anything like, and it's the same thing, Shyam should talk about this in the DoD, but it's not. One of the unusual things that unfortunately we can't talk about is also just how much we can shape what's going on under the hood, including like, how do you orchestrate something in a defense or civilian context? Now, it's not that we're the deciders, but it is the first time that, we can help shape the footprint against which we execute. Not in all cases, but for the first time in many. And what we need to get done this year is to expand that. It's much more density of client base than volume. We're into transforming large institutions and then making a lot of money with them. It's very counterintuitive, but because of that, they see very deep alignment, and they're willing to listen to us when we say, yeah, we know that won't work. Like in the past, we had to show them it won't work. Now, a lot of our conversations are, look, we know this won't work. Everyone thinks this will work. This is some BS that companies tell you. It's never going to work. If you want the event planning and the steak dinner, you can have that. And quite frankly, some companies are like, yeah, we have some part of our company that's not real. We'll use some other company that does event planning and steak dinners for that. And then we're part of the real part of the business.
And on defense and reindustrialization, obviously reindustrialization is something we've been talking about for the better part of 2 or 3 years now. It's something we're very focused on. It starts in defense, but I think it goes to pharmaceuticals, it goes to chain reaction, where we're helping build data centers. So like there's so much activity there that we're uniquely positioned to go after.
Shyam's being overly modest. Shyam's phone rings off the hook all day. And what they want from him is, how do I do this same thing across government? That's literally what's happening.
And that's what it is. Ship OS, of course, we're starting with the subfleet, but people are asking us to help with all sorts of different weapon systems, fighters, bombers, surface vessels, drones, weapons themselves, munitions. And it's a big area for us that spans not only the production of the weapon, but also sustainment of them. And if you think about lethality, the ability to deliver combat power, you need an integrated ability to do this from the factory floor to the foxhole. And Maven is a huge investment that has changed how we fight across the joint force on the foxhole side. And what we're doing, that ShipOS is really the kernel of, and is powered by warp speed, is how we're going to reinvigorate the factory floor and provide an integrated view to the Pentagon through this.
Thank you. Our next question is from Dan with Wedbush. Dan, please turn on your camera, and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Yeah, so great to see you again. And look, obviously a phenomenal quarter. My question is, does it feel like you're getting more and more of the budgets on the commercial as well as even on the government defense side, where you go in to do X and all of a sudden instead you're doing Y? Is that starting to happen now? You're just getting a bigger piece of these budgets when Palantir comes in?
Well, if you look at you look at our numbers very closely, what you will see is inexplicable growth in revenue, but not inexplicable growth in customers. And it's inexplicable growth in revenue because customers that are serious are putting a lot of their most important problems in our hands. And then the value creation, we're downstream from that, but the value creation is so large. So it's both, it's not just that you get more problems, it's that you solve them in a way that is determinative for the business, and then they pay you a lot more. And then there's also just this consensus, right or wrong, that the alternatives to us are not great. It's like, I'm constantly, before these calls, I get 50 texts, could you please be more modest? And it's an issue. But we struggle, we all struggle with something. But the thing is, I think the true answers to this, it's not like, I don't understand this false modesty of like, the customers we work with know that we know things other people don't. And we've been sticking to the way we do things for a long time. And now AI has just put gasoline on all this tribal knowledge we have in our products. And I would say, and then we're much better at actually, I wouldn't say being modest, but saying you may be a customer or a country that's not getting this right now, like Western Europe. I'm very pro Western Europe. I've been admonishing Germany in German to like wake up because I care, not for commercial reasons. But the reality is most people there are not, they're not ready. So it's like, we're in a position to say, yes, you understand what we can do. And this is how it would work. The best examples are in all the stuff Shyam is doing and other people are doing in government, which cannot be talked about. But the initial discussions are like, well, how would you shape the problem? No one's, it's like, that's what people want from us. Because like our weapon software is in every combat situation I'm aware of. Now, maybe the more people with higher clearances are aware of some things we're not involved in. So, and people say, well, this should not have worked, and it did. And then on the commercial side, which is, I think, of great interest to investors, I mean, that's why we have, that's why we have a rule of 127. That's why we're growing 93% in the US. That's why our guidance is at 61%. It was at 31% last year at the beginning of the year, something like that. So it's like, it's because we have a very tethered and deep and dense proximate relationship with the leaders in almost every field of industry. And last, adjacent to your question, but is like, and these relationships are not circular pay relationships in any way. It's like, we provide value. I mean, not that it comes up very much, but I used to tell people all the time, just imagine we're a Swiss company, but you have to pay us a little more. Like, we deliver a high value product. We don't want any BS about getting paid. We're not going to give you any BS about why our product didn't work and offer you a steak dinner or event planning event. We're going to deliver, and then we get paid. And we got paid last year a lot. 127, 70, 93. Those are my favorite numbers.
Thank you. Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
When we are thinking about what we're building, we are building these things with our internal culture, our defense clients, partners, and with a great thought to people who've put their own money into Palantir. It's just a very important part of why we continue to perform and what motivates a lot of us here, and definitely me. And I hope that you are having a great time when you run into professional analysts who thought we would never be free cash flow positive, we'd never be profitable, we'd never have a 2 handle, a 3 handle, a 4 handle, a 5 handle, and now a 7 handle on our aggregate growth, and the rule of 40 with some unattainable category, although 127 is unattainable by everyone besides us. So I hope you're enjoying the ride. There's always ups and downs, and there are ups and downs for all of us. We've been doing this for a long time, but we're having fun tonight. I hope you are too. And yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. That concludes Q&A for today's call.